So, got a special episode for you today. I've got my daughter Lily on the channel, and she hasn't been on the channel in a long time because we've been separated by thousands of kilometers during all of this COVID mess that we had with all the lockdowns and everything. Last year, when I started this channel about 18 months ago, I was in Edmonton with Lily, and I moved back here early in the kind of pandemic mess. I guess about August or September of 2020, I moved back to Ontario, and I hadn't seen Lily for almost a year. It was almost dead on a year since we've hung out in person. Now she's been here for a month, for the entire month of August, and we've been having a blast, and that's what we wanted to come in here and talk about, is some of the cool stuff that we have done, and particularly get into a discussion about the state of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and where her and I are really standing as far as how we're enjoying that. So how's your trip been so far?
It's been pretty good, pretty fun. A little busy this last week, as obviously you know, because we have a lot of plans we forgot to do for the first half of the visit. All condensed into the second half.
There were so many things. We kind of just chilled for the first 2 weeks, didn't we? And then, we didn't really get a lot of the stuff. We went down to that Avengers station. We were planning. We didn't realize that you had to pay tickets in advance. So we were going to go do that Avengers experience thing. That never happened.
I mean, we could do that on Monday.
I mean, we could, but I don't... Well, yeah, maybe. That's actually not a terrible idea. But there were so many things that we wanted to do, but what we really did end up doing a lot of is watching Marvel stuff. We started out watching Loki, which I hadn't seen yet, and man, I was blown away by that. You actually watched it first, before...
Yeah, I watched it as it was coming out each week. I watched the episode. I would be so excited to get home from school to watch it, or even some of the episodes I watched in school during lunchtime.
Yeah.
Which was super fun to just sit in the gym at lunch and watch Loki on my iPad.
A little backstory for me. I'm a huge comic book nerd, as you guys know. I love everything nerdy, and so does Lily. She's, my little protege. She loves a lot of the same stuff I do, but she exposes me to some stuff that I don't know about too. And for Marvel, I was never a huge superhero guy. But back in the day when superhero movies really started first coming out in the early 2000s, when we saw the first X-Men movie and the first Spider-Man movie, the Sam Raimi movie, I was really a huge fan of superhero movies. I absolutely loved the early X-Men, the early Spider-Man movies. I loved some of the, middle 2000s attempts at some of the darker stuff, like The Watchmen and 300. Absolutely loved those movies. And then when the MCU finally started to kick off, I guess that was around 2008 with Iron Man, I really loved the first 10 or 15 movies that I saw, and I was really, really into it. But somewhere around kind of that, maybe Captain America Civil War, around that time period, I started to get kind of burned out on superheroes. There was just so much of it. There's, 8 or 9 different X-Men movies, and there's 25 now MCU movies, and then there was all the DC stuff, the Suicide Squads, and the Christopher Nolan Batmans, and there's just so much of it that I was kind of getting burned out. So I haven't really paid attention to Marvel too much over the last 3 or 4 years. I mean, I saw Infinity War in the theater. I saw Endgame in the theater just because I needed to see how everything ended, but I never really went back and watched them multiple times or anything like that. I've seen all the movies, but since you came, the first thing we did we start with Loki, or was it... Black Widow, thank you.
Yeah, I
Totally
no clue
blanked
what you
there. We went and saw Black Widow in the drive-in theater. We have this lovely old drive-in theater here in Ontario, in the town that we live in. And so did we start with Black Widow, or did we start with the first episode of Loki?
I think we watched Black Widow first. I could be wrong, but I think we watched Loki like the next day or the day after, because I was so obsessed with watching Marvel stuff at that point.
See, a lot of people were kind of down on Black Widow, and, apparently it failed, and there's a lot of news about Scarlett Johansson suing Disney because of the way that they put it out on Disney Plus too soon before it had a proper run in the theaters, and this contract stuff, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I don't care about any of that. Black Widow was really good. It was awesome. I absolutely loved it. It's not the Black Widow movie that I wanted. I wanted to see Black Widow, in Russia in her, 20s or whatever, going through all of the bad guy stuff before she joined the Avengers. That's the Black Widow movie that I wanted. Remember that scene in, which movie was it? The second Avengers movie or something, where it starts out and she gets sent to find Hulk or whatever, and she's like tied up. She's in a chair in this like factory warehouse, and this like Russian guy is like interrogating her. And like the phone starts ringing, and the guy puts the phone up to her ear, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm a little busy right now.
I'm working."
And then she's like, "Okay, I gotta go." So then she like busts out of the chair, beats the crap out of everybody, and goes
like,
up.
"I'm not giving anything."
That's the Black Widow movie that I wanted. Like, a plot in that sort of scenario where she's playing herself. But you know what? The one we got was actually really cool.
Yeah, it wasn't the movie I was expecting, but I'm not disappointed with what we got.
Yeah.
I was hoping for even something along the lines of, there was a scene where Natasha was talking to Clint, and it's like, oh, it's like Budapest all over again. You and me remember Budapest very differently.
Yeah.
Even if I got a Budapest movie, that's what I was hoping for. But I'm not disappointed with the one we got, and seeing her fight her battles years later and reconnect with her sister and get her family again was very nice to see. I mean, it's not what I was hoping for, but I'm not upset.
So, right after we watched Black Widow, we started watching Loki, which is just, if you haven't seen it, it's 6 episodes on Disney+. But, man, Loki blew my mind. Like, I mean, I love Tom Hiddleston and Loki. The character is fantastic. In all the movies, he's one of the best parts of the MCU. And to have this storyline dedicated to him and really let him shine was fantastic, all the way up to the end when they dropped a cliffhanger and realized that nothing got solved, and now I have to wait for another season, and I'm so mad.
Yep.
But man, was it good. Like, the production values were excellent. It was literally movie level, movie quality. It was literally just like a 3-hour, 4-hour movie cut up into 6 pieces. Like, just fantastic. I really liked that format. I had tried to watch WandaVision when it first came out, and I watched one episode, and I was kind of like, what the hell is this? And never went back to it. So after we finished Loki, we started into WandaVision, and again, you had seen that.
I've seen, all of it.
You had seen that completely. We're not quite done WandaVision yet, and I still don't know what's going on, and you won't tell me because you don't want to spoil anything. I got theories running through my head like crazy. Is Wanda the bad guy? Is Wanda the good guy? Is she a victim of some greater scheme or some kind of magic that's gone awry, or like because she was like, touching Thanos when he snapped his fingers for the blip, somehow her magic like flashed back on her or something, or like, I don't know what's going on. She's in this like imaginary world, and she's got Vision there who is dead, which I guess she resurrected or something, and now she's got kids, and those kids are growing powers, and then her brother showed up who is also dead, and I'm like, what is going on here? I'm completely... but it brings a question we were talking about yesterday, and I would love to talk to you about how you perceive and understand the different power levels of all these different heroes. Like, you look at Wanda, and she seems to be so OP that she could literally, stop Thanos as an afterthought almost while she's doing something else.
Mm-hmm. Not just doing something else, destroying an Infinity Stone.
Yeah. So, like, is that too powerful at that point?
I don't know if too powerful would be the word, because she did get her powers from an Infinity Stone. I cannot remember which one. I can never remember which one. But to get her powers from one of these 6, and only 6 stones that power the entire world, galaxy, universe as we know it, she should be pretty powerful, as she basically harnesses a sixth of the world's, the entire... I don't even know a word big enough to describe the entire of everything.
Well, and this is where I've always had a problem, and that's part of the reason why I kind of stepped off of the MCU, and the same with the comic books, where I really prefer my superhero stories to be self-contained, for one thing, beginning, middle, and end in a movie or a TV show or whatever. Like, I absolutely loved the first season of The Flash, the DC CW show The Flash, where every episode was basically Flash, bad guy, Flash beats bad guy, using some new and inventive way to use speed as a weapon, and end of the episode, bad guy is dead or in jail or whatever, and on to the next episode. And it was all about, Flash in the city, protecting the city, end of story. But it's like season 2 and season 3 of The Flash had to get bigger and bigger, and there's always this push with superheroes to one-up yourself over and over and over again, and the stakes in these shows and movies get so high that they're not relatable anymore. I can't relate. I was saying to you, like, it starts out with Superman defending Metropolis, and then it's Superman defending the planet, and turning time backwards to save Lois Lane's life, and then it's all of a sudden he's protecting the galaxy from Darkseid or something, and then it's the universe, and then it's the multiverse, and then it's always one up, and it gets outside of what I can really comprehend. Does that bother you at all?
To an extent. I enjoy when it one-ups itself from the city to the planet, maybe the galaxy, or other planets beyond our planet. But once it gets to the point of universes and galaxies bigger than that, and entities larger than those, and the multiverse, then I can no longer grasp how big and important his task is. So then it gets kind of unenjoyable. To an extent.
I don't know. You look at heroes like Guardians of the Galaxy. Love them. Loved the first movie, even though they took on a kind of universe level Infinity Stone, situation. The Guardians of the Galaxy are these B-level heroes that are not really superheroes. I mean, Star-Lord, he had an alien for a dad, so maybe he's a little stronger than a human or something, but he's basically just a dude with, some guns and an attitude.
Well, he does have superpowers.
Not really. No, he doesn't.
Yeah, he does.
He can't fly. He can't shoot anything out of his...
He controls and manipulates stuff around him. He can create things.
No, he can't.
Yes, he can.
No, he can't.
Yes, his father taught him how to.
Since when? Did you see this in a new movie or something that I haven't seen?
I think it was in number 2.
I don't know. I haven't seen Star-Lord with any his dad's an alien, so maybe he has some alien powers, but he's still a B-level hero. He's not Superman or Thor. He's not a god. He's just this dude. Maybe he has some alien powers, whatever. I never saw Guardians of the Galaxy 2 because I watched the first 20 minutes of it and I thought it sucked, so I turned it off.
Yeah, he meets his dad, and his dad shows him that he created an entire planet for him to live on, and stuff like that, and he tries to live with his dad, and Gamora's like, I don't trust your dad. And then...
But again, the other, Groot is a tree. Like, he's not a superhero, he's just a tree.
This is my friend, Tree.
And, Gamora, I mean, she fights good, and she's green. But, I mean, her superpower seems to be that she's green.
Yep.
So they're not, like, superheroes. They're just, like, heroes. But, when they take on these little things like a heist or something, I feel like that's when they're at their best, when they're trying to, like, steal an Infinity Stone from a bad guy or something. But when all of a sudden they're, like, harnessing the power of an Infinity Stone, I'm like, come on, these are just basically normal people.
Yeah, I really enjoyed, I think it was the beginning of number 2, where they were on this other planet fighting this giant slug to get batteries from him or something to return to the rulers of the planet, and you can see it in the background, and I really enjoyed the way, I think it was the way they opened that movie, where they have Mr. Blue Sky playing in the background, and Groot just dancing along to it, and you can see them fighting in the background, and it was just a super cute and cool way to introduce the movie, to have the focus be on Groot, but really the focus be on what's happening beyond Groot.
What do you think of the Deadpool movies?
I thought they were pretty okay.
See, I never liked Deadpool as a hero, mostly because I don't like Deadpool fans in the comic books. Like, Deadpool fans are so toxic in that they just think Deadpool is, like, the greatest thing and he can beat everybody. And I mean, there were some crossover comics back in the day that had Deadpool killing the entire Marvel Universe. It was like this tongue-in-cheek joke. It wasn't supposed to be real. And I mean, Deadpool is cool. I mean, he's basically invincible.
Right.
Not really. I mean, you can still blow him to pieces, but I mean, assuming he can find all his pieces, he can, grow back together or whatever. Like, I guess he's basically invincible. And, I mean, he's, I guess, depending on which version of Deadpool, he could be super strong, and he could have, like, the same, metal bones that Wolverine has or something. But, I mean, again, he's not really a superhero, but what I really like about the Deadpool movies is that his situations are local. You know? He's dealing with something, he's an assassin, or he has a vendetta against somebody that he wants to kill. And he's got totally normal stuff like girlfriends and, going into a bar and picking up a hit contract or something. I really do like that because it makes it so much more relatable. This is like, yeah, this could really happen. Like, in my head, I can understand how somebody could be a mutant. I could scientifically understand how somebody could mutate into getting some special powers, super strong, or heal really quickly or something, and have these normal life battles with real human beings, kind of like Superman and Lex Luthor. Superman was invincible, but Lex Luthor was a genius.
Right.
And so they were constantly tussling back and forth, I don't know, but you know what, with all of this Loki and WandaVision and everything that you basically made me watch, which I wasn't really interested at all up until when you were here, it's rekindled my love. And then we went and watched Infinity War. We just watched it here on Disney Plus or whatever. Watched Infinity War again to kind of get some context for what's going on in these shows. And I'm hooked all over again. Like, now I wanted to actually watch Endgame just to, finish the story. And you were like, meh. And I was like, really? You made me watch Infinity War and now you won't watch Endgame with me? What's going on?
Well, I will, just not at that moment.
So, what's next out there? I mean, we've got a bunch of new movies and stuff coming, and I'm still trying to figure out, because I haven't finished WandaVision yet. We have, 3 or 4 episodes
about that.
left? So, I really don't know how all this stuff is tying together going forward in the MCU. Where I left off, the blip was the blip, and everybody was dead and gone. But now, seeing in WandaVision, I mean, people are coming back. The blip is reversing. I don't know who did that or how it's happening.
Did you not see Endgame or the second Spider-Man movie? They all come back in those movies. This isn't a new WandaVision thing.
I haven't seen any of the Marvel stuff from since Infinity War, and I thought I watched Endgame.
Yeah, they come back in Endgame and then more things happen.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know that they came back from the blip.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that kind of defeats the entire purpose of the whole thing if they're just coming back. And now we have this new organization, because, I mean, S.H.I.E.L.D. wasn't cool
Mm-hmm.
enough. Now we've got S.W.O.R.D.,
Mm-hmm.
and the guy that's running S.W.O.R.D. is like a complete douchebag.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Accurate.
So, yeah, that's how our month has gone. I mean, we went out and did a few things. You've had some horse riding lessons while you're here, and we went out thrifting a couple of times, and went to the beach a couple times. What else did we do?
What else did we do?
Well, we went to Lang Pioneer Village.
Yeah, that was super fun. I really enjoyed that.
And, but really, I mean, we've just been Marvel junkies, since she got back, and so we thought we'd come in and just kind of share a little bit of ourselves, because it's not often that I get to have my baby in a video anymore, because we're separated by thousands of miles. But anything you would like to add?
Tonight, we're going to go see Free Guy, talking of Deadpool.
Yeah.
Same guy. Ryan Reynolds, I think his name is.
Yeah,
Super excited about that one.
We're going to the small local theater in our small town, and we're going to see Free Guy. I don't know why this is out of focus, but stupid webcam. So, yeah, what time is it? 5:30. I guess we better get ready for Free Guy, because it starts at 7, and we gotta eat something maybe, and then Lily is going camping with her grandparents next week, and then she's gone back to Edmonton, so I'm gonna be a sad dad. I love you.
Love you too.
See you later.
Bye.